Hey guys, this is your host Nitin Binhani and a very warm welcome to my startup podcast channel GCC Audio, where we share real stories with real learnings. So, Founder Institute is the world's largest pre-seed startup accelerator which helps founders across the early stages. It has helped launch over 5,000 plus companies across 200 cities in 6 continents. In total, Founder Institute alumni have raised so far over $1 billion and the current portfolio is worth an estimated $30 billion. So in today's podcast, I have invited Sameer Sortur, who is based in Dubai and currently the Regional Director of Founder Institute for GCC, and shall be sharing the unique value proposition of Founder Institute and how it could empower startups across the GCC. So, let's welcome today's special guest. Hey Sameer, welcome to GCC Audio. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Nitin, and it's my pleasure to be on GCC Radio.
Let's start with, how is the Founder Institute enabling startups globally?
So let me give you a brief history about Founder Institute. Founder Institute started way back in 2009 in Palo Alto, California, and they have made multiple attempts to launch in the GCC region through various partners. They operate on a chapter framework. I was very fortunate to have contacted them and had the opportunity and the ecosystem support to successfully launch Founder Institute in the GCC in June 2020. And since our launch, we have completed 3 cohorts in the UAE, 1 cohort in Saudi. We are actually rolling on into our 4th cohort in a couple of days on 26th of October. And so ideally, Founder Institute enables pre-seed founders to get training, support, and traction required to build their company. And we run a 14 weeks program. And actually, the ecosystem here was lacking for such a pre-seed program. So that's where we come in. We built a solid mentor network of over 200 plus in and around the GCC countries. Plus, we have a global mentor pool of about 22,000 plus mentors. And with all that ecosystem support, we're kind of trying to help the very early stage founders build a global business.
Okay, so what differentiates Founder Institute from other accelerators?
So Founder Institute always had a common mission in mind to democratize entrepreneurship. And when it comes to democratizing entrepreneurship, the way to go forward is to bring mass scale entrepreneurship across the world. And with that mission and empowering talented individuals to run independent chapters around the world, as well as helping early stage founders get into a program to build a global business with Silicon Valley methods, ethics, and a systematic approach to building a company. That's what it differentiates. Now, when it comes to differentiation, in our presentation deck, we have a very interesting slide where the ecosystem is actually divided in 4 parts. One is the training and education programs, the hackathons and the learning programs and all of that. Then there are specific company building programs, which are for early stage companies. And here in that tech ecosystem stack, Founder Institute perfectly fits in. Then we go to pre-seed. From pre-seed, we go to seed level of engagements for founders, where the larger accelerators, venture funds come into play. YC, Techstars 500, they all go into the seed category. And then we have mission-driven VCs who are investing in ESG or who are actually investing in B2B SaaS companies and creating impact. So Founder Institute enables companies who are impact-driven. And obviously, we are now including a lot of social impact into our curriculum, which is very different compared to the lot of programs out there. And we help measure founder progress by using a KPI tool called For Progress. So if you hit fi.co/progress, you will be able to actually build your startup based on UN Sustainable Development Goals. That is accepted by most of these impact investors as well as other investors, because right now the world is broken and startups need to build solutions for the broken emerging world, I would say.
All right. What factors do you look for in a startup to shortlist them in a particular program or a cohort?
Founder Institute methodology is very unique. they designed this methodology way back in 2009, and we have iterated this version almost more than 10 times. We work on founder DNA. Like our DNA, we work on founder DNA. Each founder DNA is unique to building a startup. When we consider any founder enrolling into our program, or which is a part of our selection process, there are 26 parameters, right from intelligence. So we measure fluid intelligence, collaboration, intuitiveness, engagement with other founders, teamwork, technology experience, and so forth. And that's how our program is designed. So out of these 26 parameters which we measure, every parameter, when a founder comes into our program, we are able to actually, as directors of the program, we are actually able to see the capability of each founder and then make a decision on how well we should be able to guide that particular founder. Right? So these are some of very unique aspects built by Founder Institute, which is based on founder DNA and based on behavioral science, which is built with some of the top universities, which keep contributing to the algorithm and keep making it smarter so that we can build and roll out some great global companies using founder DNA.
So how does Founder Institute help those entrepreneurs who don't make it?
Absolutely. For the rest of the community, we have also built a lot of engagement programs. First of all, the founders who are unable to enroll or who have been accepted and did not make a decision to enroll into our program, those kind of founders get continuous access to our library of content continuously as long as they are subscribed to our email newsletter. We have very engaging community on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, and some of the very thought leaders come and continuously engage with our community and founders. Plus, we give them an opportunity, like we call second chance and third chances. We actually give them opportunities to think and roll back into the future cohorts if ever they make a decision. And by the way, in the UAE and GCC, I have at least 3 to 4 founders minimum out of the 23 will be graduating by the end of fall. We have 4 founders who have decided to drop off or could not continue the program in cohort 1, have actually joined cohort 4 to continue building their startup. So it's a very engaging community. Our mentors are extremely helpful, and this is what we have built. We have built this as one global community.
What kind of support do entrepreneurs get when they join a program?
So Founder Institute program is a 14-week program. It runs from the orientation of the program, covering different modules, right from building a company vision, customer development, revenue, branding design, to actually evaluating. The first stage gate is to evaluating whether the idea is ready for the next launch phase, and then legal IP, go to market, scale, equity funding. Then we come to mentor progress review. And so all of these modules, we cover this on a weekly journey. This is in person with mentors, and then it is also followed by office hours by mentors and assignments which they have to complete, and all of those assignments are very well structured to the founder DNA. When they complete the program, now the completion of the program means they have set up a holding company and they are ready to launch their MVPs, and then they are ready to go into the global market and become Founder Institute alumni. We take them into different initiatives. One of them, if their product readiness is really lacking in some areas, we have Product Market Fit Lab, where they can keep testing with our global tech community, and they can test and validate their product before actually commercialization. If the product is ready and already has traction, by the way, out of our 23 founders in the UAE and GCC, about 5 founders have already raised seed funding close to $500,000 in the last 1 year, and they have ready commercial products which are ready for the global market. Now, their concern in the next 9 to 12 months is actually to raise funding. So we have something called as Funding Lab, and Funding Lab, we actually nominate, we as directors have to nominate certain select founders who are ready to raise funding. And we have another program for venture funds called VC Lab, where we match the entrepreneurs from the Founder Institute into the VC Lab. And this is an interesting match of the ecosystem. And we've seen over 90% of the founders who enter the funding lab complete their first close in less than 6 months.
So as the regional director, what's your vision for the Founder Institute across GCC?
Absolutely. So first of all, we have a solid team in the UAE. We have excellent venture partners. We've built a lot of credibility with the government, the tech ecosystem, and even the university ecosystem, which is actually sprawling. A lot of interesting students are coming from the universities into the startup arena to build their own startup. In the last 3 cohorts, we've had tremendous success in actually getting average aged founders in the GCC UAE been about 33 years. But we really want to focus on youth and create a lot of employment with the youth. So one target is, how can we increase the number of startups by engaging with youth founders at the university level, because they're creating a lot of dynamism in the industry. They're very innovative in their ideas, and they can help solve certain problems which cannot be seen by the corporate world. So in terms of numbers, we are looking at actually scaling to about 200 companies in the next 4 to 5 years, building global products, and each startup creating about 10 jobs. That adds around 2,000 jobs into the market, creates a lot of employment. And we also want to launch chapters apart from UAE, we want to launch in Saudi. We've done a program in Saudi. We want to really launch with a bigger ecosystem in Saudi. We're working towards it. Qatar is very ripe. Bahrain is a great open ecosystem. And Oman is sprawling with a lot of universities. Kuwait is very healthy in terms of finance and investment. So we really want to cover the entire GCC and make it one Founder Institute ecosystem, like the global hub. Second of all, we are also looking at vertical programs. For example, there is demand for food, health, education. We've seen COVID, and that's driven a lot of education-related solutions. So these 3 domains we want to focus on, because traditionally, this region, it's focusing on logistics and e-commerce solutions. But using the Founder Institute framework, we really want to change that. And I can see that happening by the kind of founders participating in our program.
Finally, can you tell us a bit about yourself and your venture SquareCircle Global?
Sure. My full name is Sameer Chortur. I originally hail from Mumbai, Maharashtra, India. I've been in the UAE for last 20 odd years and have worked across the sphere, from delivering solutions to the petrochemical industry to actually build accelerator program for one of the UAE government entities, to running a large hackathons and educational programs for different government and semi-government into the UAE. And since 2014, with a mission to help and become a platform for growth stage companies to launch in the Middle East, North Africa region, I launched SquareCircle Global. The idea was to create an ecosystem for founders who want to launch companies and use my existing network to help them grow their business. And with that mission, I have helped scale about close to 6 companies, majorly from the Western countries. Apart from that, we also work on the technology stack around decision science and decision intelligence, and we have over 200 plus customers, corporate, government and semi-government customers across Middle East, Africa, helping solve issue around getting decisions out of data. So that's what we do. So on the entrepreneurship side, on the decision science side, SquareCircle is building up its capability in the years to come.
So with this, we have reached at the end of this podcast. Sameer, it was a pleasure to have you on Jazair Audio, and thank you for sharing great insights with us.
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you very much.
Are you a founder of an early stage startup and looking to raise funding? Get your startup investor ready before even you start pitching to your prospective investors. For know-how, please visit www.jazaro.in. That is www.jasaro.in.
Lastly, I want to thank all the listeners who took their valuable time to listen to this podcast. Keep rocking, be safe, and don't forget to share.